So Anand, let's get started. You're Anand. You are from the number one hostel, Alak,
I like forever.
and from the class of 90. Yeah, Alak forever. Exactly. Yeah, and class of 93. So again, it's so good to talk to you. You are a role model for our alumni in every way possible. Just done everything right, everything well, and just an exceptional right, at all levels. So again, thank you for being that and showing the right path for everybody, not only our alumni but the world in general. So I'm going to start with you, Anand. Give us some your flashback from IIT Madras. Any of the memories that keep coming back to you positive. Hopefully, most of them are. But if you can share that with us, that would be awesome.
At IIT, I think that we all had great times. Right, the best times for me were the times spent at the hostel at Alak. Hanging out with with the hostel mates and I a lot of those some of the many of those cannot be recounted, but some of those among those that the one of those that still sticks in my memory is this. And it happened recently. We had a conversation and it came up. Was we used to get the Hindu newspaper delivered every day to the hostel, and on Sundays we'd sit on the wing cot and solve the Hindu crossword. That was I recall that was a particularly fun memory that stands out in my mind, because you had to get it first before the other guys got it, otherwise they would fill it in first. So and it was
it's filled out.
Right.
Right. And those are hard, right? The Hindu crossword is. I see. Nice. And Hindu crosswords are hard. It's kind of a multi-dimensional thinking required. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, any other memories, Anand, that percolates up for you?
Then there's of course all the fun times we had at various events like Mardi Gras and all these things, right? So those are all great, obviously, and some of the inter-hostel events stick in memory. There were some memorable games of six-a-side and all those things where I was not playing, but I was part of the audience cheering, and some of those memories are fantastic.
Nice, awesome. So after IITM, you came to Stanford, and then you have done multiple startups that became huge success stories. And then now you're a venture capitalist. You're a professor. You teach at Stanford also, but of course you're a prolific investor. Tell us your life after IITM and how it has shaped you, and what are some things memorable during that time.
Sure. So after IITM, I was very lucky that we graduated from IITM in 1993, and I came directly to Stanford, and I was fortunate because I think our whole batch was fortunate because that was the year the web browser came out, right? So it's a very sort of very important moment in history, and I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, just in Silicon Valley, right when the web browser came out. So that naturally, led my research interest in the direction of the web, because at some level my PhD research started at the same time the web was born, right? So it sort of came out naturally, and as it so happened, Venki, who was also from IITM, was also at Stanford at the same time. And his interest and my interest, along with a couple of other IITians, Ashish from IIT Kanpur and Rakesh from IIT Bombay, we all sort of got together and started a company called Jungly, right? This was in 1996. 3 years after I joined Stanford, I dropped out of the PhD program and took a leave of absence, and we started this company that sort of looked at the intersection of the research that we were doing and the World Wide Web. And that company ended up being acquired by Amazon in '98, and that was a very interesting moment as well, because Amazon.com today is a giant company, right? Huge, But when we were acquired, it was still a small company. Everybody fit in one building, and I got a great chance to work closely with Jeff Bezos, and that was a very formative moment in my career as well. I learned a lot during that period. We ended up launching Amazon's marketplace model, the ability for third-party sellers to sell on Amazon, and that turned out to be a very important thing for Amazon in the long run. Today, more than half of Amazon's units sold come from the marketplace. And another interesting project that we worked on was this thing called Amazon Mechanical Turk, which was the idea. And the Mechanical Turk turned out to be hugely important in the future. We didn't realize it would be this important, but it turned out to be hugely important in the future for the development of machine learning, because it enabled the creation of large labeled data sets and sort of indirectly led to the evolution of deep learning, right? So that's, that's a sort of we didn't envisage that would happen, but it's great that it that it actually did. So that was
you were there during prime time. You were there during prime time.
during the time when Prime was launched, I guess. Yeah, that was quite interesting, and quite gratifying that when Amazon came in later into India for the first time, before they used the Amazon brand, they actually used the Junglee brand in India for some time.
Really?
They actually had a brand called Junglee.com, and before Amazon, they established the Amazon brand in India. They were for a year or so using the Junglee brand in India. This is about 7-8 years ago, I think. So it was quite
wow,
quite
neat.
Yeah. So there was brought back old days to sort of see that happening. And and then post Amazon, Venki and I got back together, two IITM alums, and we started a venture capital firm called Cambrian Ventures. Invested in a lot of great companies, which some of the early big data companies, some of the early ad tech companies. We were also fortunate enough to invest in Facebook and Lyft in the early days of those companies. So we had some good investments that we did. And then we said, look, investing is all fine, but we want to do startups again. So we want to be founders again. So we started another company called Cosmics, 2007. That company was one of the earliest. We wanted to bring artificial intelligence, to come up with a company that productized artificial intelligence, and this is before deep learning. So we were kind of bitten by the AI bug, maybe a few years too early. But we still thought AI and NLP had a lot of potential even before deep learning. So we wanted to productize that, and we were the earliest company to apply sort of AI to and sort of these natural language processing techniques, semantic analysis, and all that to social media when it first came out, when Facebook and Twitter first came out, and that company ended up being acquired by Walmart in 2011, and then I set up within Walmart. I sort of created and co-headed this unit called Walmart Labs, and it was basically a new division of Walmart that we created to support their online efforts. So we started with about 100 employees coming from Cosmics. Now it has over several thousand employees of Walmart Labs all over the world. I set up Walmart Labs in Bangalore and hired the initial team there. Now they're pretty big as well. So there was Walmart. Then after leaving Walmart, Venki and I got together again, and together with Sailesh, who's also an IITM alum, although not from Adak, we've created a new venture capital firm now called Rocket Ship. That's what we're doing now. Rocket Ship is a venture capital firm. We've been using data and algorithms to invest in companies all over the world.
I see. Beautiful. That's so amazing, actually, in what you have accomplished and how you see the future ahead of time. So pretty cool. So switching back to IITM, Anand, what is your favorite spot at IITM and why? I know Alak Mess is your favorite spot, but other than that.
Well, definitely Alak was sort of the favorite spot. Back in the day, I used to actually enjoy going to Taram's for the cutting time. So that was So
bun omelette and one by two chai.
That is when Quad came out. Also, that
I
was
see.
a great great innovation, right? So you could actually go get that stuff there. But the the I don't know whether they still have it, but back in the day, the central library was a great was a great space to hang out, and this was before the days we had these laptops and all these were ubiquitous. So actually doing research involved actually using pen and paper and
I see.
figuring things out, and reading books and papers and stuff like that were actually on paper. So the library used to be a great spot. They had these study carrels where you could sit and do work uninterrupted for for some period of time. So I had some interesting. But most of the time I was reading books that were completely unrelated to any work that I was doing, because there would be random books on random topics, I found that very, very interesting, right? So it was kind of an early version of the World Wide Web, right? You start off somewhere and you start reading something, and then you start reading something else, and you can get lost pretty quickly.
All into it.
Yeah.
So they must have built a library after 1990, because when I was there, I don't remember a library on campus. So it must have come up after 1990.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I'm kidding, of course. Yeah, I'm kidding.
You got me on that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I think you spent considerable amount of time reading and doing crosswords, and and then of course you're very popular in your class, so with all your friends and classmates, and so must have been a phenomenal time, right, overall.
What a great time. It's amazing 4 years. I wouldn't give it up for anything. Yeah.
Right, totally. So Anand, what is your message to younger alumni? By the way, nowadays there are every year more students are graduating from IIT Madras than when you and I were there. Yeah. It'll be really nice for them to hear from you some gyan and wisdom, and your sort of message as well as advice. So I'm sure it'll make a big impact on so many of them.
Sure. What I realized is that when we graduate from IIT, right? Even though we've sort of gotten a broad education, there's still a lot left to learn, right? And so I think the most important thing things that I got from IITM, is sort of you learn how to learn,
Right.
and you sort of make a great bunch of friends who will remain friends for the rest of your life, and who can, in surprisingly odd ways help you out in your career as well, right? So it's very interesting, and the IIT brand name and the network that it brings with it, right, is something phenomenal, and leveraging that is far more important potentially than what you even learned in college, right, on campus. So that's something huge and important. And overall, the other thing that I learned is to not get not to pigeonhole yourself into whatever direction that you thought you were going on initially, right? So we all do this thing where we pick a branch, or we are forced to pick a branch at IIT, and we learn something. Maybe we do a BTech project where we get slightly deeper into something, and then we sort of feel that it's hard to learn, pick a different field of study altogether. But that's not even true, right?
Right.
Picking up something new is actually quite easy. It just requires some amount of effort that all of us are capable of doing. You can switch your field, you can switch your career, do all that. I've done that many times. So I would just encourage people not to pigeonhole yourself. Think explore new things, and leverage the IITM network.
Nice, fantastic. I think it'll be very valuable for everybody graduating now. So Anand, thank you so much. But just join me in wishing IITM the very best. You know that IITM ranked 5th year in a row #1 in engineering, and 2nd year in a row in overall category in India. So a lot of good things are happening at IITM, and I think both the faculty as well as the students and the staff are just doing their best, going through the COVID crisis, at the same time continuing to do what it is. So please join me in wishing IITM the best, and also in saying I for IITM. So I want to hear from you.
No, I do keep in touch with IITM. I go visit every year and keep in touch with the faculty and all the research. It's amazing to see the work that's going on. Also, the IITM Research Park and so on. The startups and the innovation activity that's going on. So with a great deal of pride, I can say I for IITM.
Awesome. Anand, thank you so much for your time, and see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon. Thank you so much.